Check one, check two. And we're live.
I had to wear the boots for this.
Ow. 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 Kick it.
I was born broken. I was born in shame.
Yep.
I was born tired. I was born in chains. And then I come to look in my way. I said, nah, baby, there ain't no way, 'cause I can't afford love. No, I can't
afford love.
No, I can't afford love. No, I can't afford love. Too many lonely nights trying to find myself. Too many times they walk away crazy. I'm just gifted at breaking in. And then
Kick it, sister.
Looking at me.
I don't know. I like the dress. I like the dress. I like the microphone. I like the dress. I like the grind. I like the effort. I give her A for effort. A for effort. Grace Love broke. You can't afford love. She can't afford love. No love for her. She can't afford it. She would buy some love, but she can't afford it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. Today, we're going to try to dissect this notion of Trump derangement syndrome. Is it real? Is Trump derangement syndrome a real medical diagnosis? In other words, for example, if someone sees something that is upsetting, for example, if a vegan sees an animal being hurt, he has or she has a propensity to be upset about the situation, more so than most people. Right? That's actually a bad example because the destruction of animals is bad, but something more mundane like rain, for example. Rain, that's a good one. Some people see rain as a bad thing. Some people see rain as a good thing. Some people see rain as, I don't know, nothing. But when people look at Trump, Donald J. Trump, they lose their fucking mind. Right? It's a derangement syndrome. Something wants to hate on this guy. So we're gonna explore this. Is it fact or fiction? Is Trump derangement syndrome a fact or is it fiction? That's what we're gonna find out. Welcome everybody in the program. Today is June 13th in the year 2023, and markets are up. Markets are screaming up. Markets are up because inflation came in a little lower than expected, and tomorrow it looks like the Fed Reserve is going to not jack up the interest rate for the first time in a long time. And it's going to go level. So there's signs that inflation is waning. That's why the markets are moving up in this way. Technology leading the charge right now. You can't make it up. For example, Apple right now. Well, Apple down a little bit. We'll check with the markets when we get there. Right now, I'm looking at the technology ETFs, TQQQ. Or you can look at Qs, QQQ. And this is what we're following right now. This is what we're cashing in on right now. And it looks like it's going to open up all the way up here. We're going way higher, way higher, way higher. So markets going up. Markets are loving this environment. So my name is Marcus Conte. I have a website. This is educational, philosophical live streams. that we do every day. We try to educationally and philosophically figure out what the hell is going on in people's minds, mostly, because that's where the tragedy either begins or ends, in the mind. Trump is a comical, decent, big-mouthed New Yorker, integral, patriotic, family-oriented guy. But there's other people that see him as a tyrant and a villain. He's either a superhero or a supervillain to many people, Trump. And it is fascinating. It makes him probably, in my view, the most fascinating human being on earth. Right? And you ask, people say, well, why do you talk about him? If you talk about Trump, the current climate right now is if you talk about Trump, any positive whatsoever, then you're a Republican and you're a MAGA Republican and you deserve to be thrown in jail. If you don't support Trump, then you're a left liberal who has Trump derangement syndrome and needs to be thrown in fucking jail. So there's very, very extremes on both sides, right? The idea, people, is to live in the center of it. Don't get swept away by it. This is going to be a fascinating election. You got Trump running against a half-dead guy. The FBI and CIA and the government institutions are deeply, deeply, deeply stacked against Donald J. Trump. They want to throw him in jail for life. They're bringing him up on federal charges. If this is a show, that's okay, great. But what happens if it actually happens and you got an ex-president of the United States serving federal time for making, poor judgment, little issues of poor judgment, putting boxes in the wrong place and such. So anyway, we'll find out. We're going to find out what's going on. So I got a website, and every morning at 9 a.m., no notification necessary. As long as I'm alive, I'll be here. I'm not saying I'm dying or someone's going to kill me. I'm just saying, people die all the time. There's no escaping that. One day you wake up and you're dead. Right? Has that ever occurred to you? That there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of life, by the way. People think, they look at their mother and their father and say, oh, my mother, she made it to 95. And my father, well, he died at 86. So I'm probably good for 90. I'm 60 now, and I'll make it to 90. I've got 30 years left. Well, the reality is that that's not fact. You could walk out the street. You could walk out into the street tomorrow and get hit by a car. You could eat the wrong thing. You can be injected with some psychopharmaceutical crap that you're forced to take because of your job and get a blood clot in the brain and die. A lot could happen, so there's no guarantees, is what I'm saying. Right? So you got to enjoy yourself. You got to enjoy yourself and live to the maximum. I hope I'm making sense this morning. I'm watching this market very closely. Let's see how high it's going to go. It's very interesting so far. Let's put the extended hour in there. And pow! Give me the extended. Give me the extended. Look at that run. Wow. Look at that. Look at that run. Look at that gallop up. We're going higher, 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 higher. We're going higher today. So welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Weeble Girl on the wrench. Vinny DiMartini also on the wrench. DJ in the house. William R. Hall. What's up? Sunny Breaks is here. How are you? Justin Falzone. Quantum Epic in the house as well. Who else we got? Zutsu Cooter. What's up, my brother? Champs. Sean Kane. A lot of new people. A lot of new lurkers. A lot of people hanging out, watching. Thank you all for joining me. For whatever reason, if you're trying to figure out if I'm crazy or you just like the commentary, whatever it is, thank you for being here. Because Marcus loves you. Marcus loves you. I do. I really do. I love everybody. So let's start here. Trump derangement syndrome, fact or fiction? Let's start with Trump's lawyer in New York saying that the left would love to have this frivolous trial before the election. Let's listen.
Over to President Trump's attorney, Lindsay Halligan. So, Lindsay, this is all swirling around these audio tapes, allegedly, of the former vice president, current President Joe Biden, on the phone with a Burisma executive, getting Hunter hired at Burisma, possibly accepting a $5 million bribe. At the same time, your client, former President Trump, is going to be indicted tomorrow. What's the thought process as all this breaks down?
Right. Their dream is to have this trial before the election, I'm sure. They're going for the jugular in this case. I've been involved every step of the way. I've met these people. I was there at the raid. They wouldn't let me inside the property to see what...
Trump picks a lawyer, a sexy female lawyer who looks like a victim. She looks like a fucking victim of I don't know, like domestic violence. She looks like she got kicked around or something. I don't know. That's just my impression of Trump's lawyer. Trump's lawyer has been domestically abused.
What they were doing, they asked for the cameras to be turned off. Why? Then they publicized a staged photo of the alleged classified documents thrown on the floor, as if that's what his office looks like on a daily basis. I was also there at the special counsel hearing where they didn't want a neutral third party.
Painting a picture of bias, heavy bias, Trump's attorney is painting.
Then they...
Pointing out the derangement syndrome, right? Piling on fictional nonsense.
They leaked that there were nuclear secrets in the documents they found. Then they compelled attorneys' testimonies, and Judge Howell eviscerated the most sacred privilege we have, attorney-client privilege, allowing the Department of Justice to question one of President Trump's attorneys about his privileged communications with the president. Then they ostensibly scoffed at our allegations of prosecutorial misconduct, which this investigation has been riddled with from the...
So that's a lot of legal jargon, a lot of legal crap. The lawyer is saying that it looks like the system itself inside is stacked against us. That's from the inside out. Trump's attorney painting a picture of inside bias.
Beginning. Now they indicted him. I don't think they'll stop here. They have one shot to block him from the White House, and make no mistake, their goal is to put him in prison. So it's time for battle. And
their goal is to put him in prison. Wow. Trump's lawyer is telling the great populace that they want to put Trump in prison. That's when the Trump derangement people will be happy. He's in prison finally. Why? I don't know. He did so many bad things.
Hopefully we'll win.
What does that mean? It's time for battle. What should we expect tomorrow and the next day?
Tomorrow will just be a quick procedural proceeding. The president will plead not guilty because he's not guilty. Because the government is watching this, I can't go into our defense strategy, but there's lots of issues in this case.
The government is watching. Of course they're watching. You're the lawyer on the other side, and you're on TV talking. Of course they're going to watch a gag order doesn't come out, right? We're not going to. So a judge can do that. A judge can stand up and say, no more talking about this case outside of the courtroom. Judge can do that. Will they? No. The point of it is to talk about it and let it leak out into the public and see how bad a person Trump is before a trial. Look how bad he is. No, the judge could do that. An honest judge would. An honest judge in a real case would block lawyers from going out on Fox and speaking. That's what they do. They gag all the attorneys and prosecutors in a real case. This is fiction. This is entertainment.
We can do to hopefully expose the prosecutorial misconduct, and we have all hands on deck. We have a cohesive group working. All
right, so that's his attorneys, giving us a little insight from the back. Here's Trump himself. Let's listen to Trump himself.
In the end, they're not coming after me. They're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way. Here I am. I'm standing in their way, and I always will be. The ridiculous and baseless indictment of me by the Biden administration's weaponized Department of Injustice will go down as among
the weaponized Department of Injustice. Trump, the weaponized Department of Injustice. Brilliant.
By the Biden administration's weaponized Department of Injustice will go down as among the most horrific abuses of power in the history of our country. This vicious
really is.
persecution is a travesty of justice.
It's amazing watching Harold nod along with this. The media is cheering on the indictment, but are also worried that a Trump-appointed judge will crash the party.
She was selected fair and square, whether you like that or not. And the reality is, in a case like this, the public won't have confidence whether she acquits or convicts.
I haven't had this much fun reading anything since I read 50 Shades of Grey. We're also dealing with a judge who has been known to give favorable, who was appointed by Trump and has been known to give favorable rulings.
The most significant evidence in the indictment, because of course I read it gleefully.
Yeah. You've said that Trump is Nixon on steroids. How so?
Nixon at least had some sense of shame.
And Obama's former wingman, Eric Holder, thinks Democrats should impeach Trump a third time if he wins.
I decided to grip 6 belt because there was 3 things that I hated about
Gotta get rid of it. Gotta get rid of
The
the
notion
commercial.
that you could have a trial, defendant be convicted, somehow win the election, be sworn in as president, or whenever it happens, that seems inconsistent with our notion of fairness, of the rule of law.
So this Jackoff really believes it. He believes in his mind. He believes that Trump's. If Trump were, because we're indicting Trump on all this garbage, if he should somehow become president, that's a dereliction of justice. That's what this idiot is saying, Mr. Holder.
At that point, I would hope that an impeachment proceeding might be.
And then once he's in, let's impeach him because the people don't know what they're talking about, and we do.
Be considered, not only considered, brought.
Oh, can't get enough of that. Can't debate, so let's put people in court. You were upset, Judge, about the way they're...
So that was Trump in his own words. Listen to Noam Chomsky. You remember old Noam Chomsky? He's still alive. Used to be a fan. I was a fan. Let's listen to Noam Chomsky spin a little bit about Trump.
It certainly was. Who has been for you the best American president of your lifetime, and who's been the worst?
In my lifetime, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst?
Too much competition, I'm afraid.
Too much competition for picking the worst president.
I know you're not
I know he'll find one. Let's talk about Trump.
a massive fan of Donald Trump. How do you feel about him running again?
No. If he runs again, it'll be a disaster for the world.
A disaster for the world. Noam Chomsky, I used to love this guy. A disaster for the world. Okay, what exactly does that mean? Trump Derangement Syndrome Chomsky. TDS Chomsky. Trump Derangement. TDS Chomsky says.
For many reasons. For one thing, Trump, as you saw during his first time, is dedicated. Actually, he has 2 commitments. One commitment is to himself. These are
personality. He's attacking on a personality trait. Therefore, he's a bad president.
Paranoid. He's a megalomaniac, psychopath.
Psychopath. Trump's a psychopath.
All that concerns him is me.
All that concerns him is me. Me, 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 me. That's everybody. Everybody is concerned with themselves. But he's a psychopath.
The other commitment is to serve corporate power and great wealth.
They all do that. Show me a politician that doesn't serve corporate power.
Abjectly. His one legislative achievement was a huge tax gift to the ultra-rich, and the corporate sector. Nothing.
It certainly was. That was one of Trump's greatest mistakes, giving tax breaks to the super wealthy. I told you about that.
Else. But he is a major climate denialist. He denies that global warming is taking place. He wants to maximize the use of fossil fuels.
Nobody knows for sure if global warming is actually happening. There's change in the environment. Are humans causing it? Yeah, probably. But there's no, the only concerted effort people can make is to consume less. And people are not willing to do that or consume more efficiently, like go with, battery powered as opposed to gas. Is Trump a climate change denier? No. He doesn't think of it as a major policy issue, spending trillions of dollars to save 10 cents. So, anyway.
Including the most dangerous of them, and to eliminate regulations which might...
If you don't know who Noam Chomsky is, Noam Chomsky wrote the book, The Manufacturing of Consent, how government manufactures consent in the media to commit horrific crimes of war. He was very smart. His message was very resonant in the 90s and the 00s. But now he's becoming kind of like a dinosaur. Right? Trump's a psychopath. He said
mitigate the catastrophe. That's a death sentence for the human species. Domestically, he's made it very clear that he wants to institute what we would properly call a proto-fascist state.
Trump wants to institute a proto-fascist state. What the fuck are you talking about?
Eliminate the civil service since the mid-1990s.
I've never heard Trump say that I'm going to eliminate the civil service. Nobody has ever said that. If things fade away, civil service and unions are deeply corrupted. If they need to be transformed, then they should. But Trump has never said, I want to get rid of the civil service and all those people who benefit from it. That's not true, no.
19th century, like every other democratic society, the United States has had a nonpartisan civil service which does most of the administration.
He doesn't know what he's talking about anymore.
Keeps the society running. Britain has the same. Others have the same. Trump has...
Weevil Girl says it's almost elder abuse. Don't intellectuals retire? That's right. Man. You should fucking retire already. Norm, go away, man. Retire. Go to the farm.
He's made it explicit that he wants to eliminate it, replace it by loyalists who put in power. That undercuts what remains.
A president wants to appoint people that are in line with his view, his vision. And to him, that's totalitarianism and fascism. No, that's getting the job done. Why would I surround myself with people who disagree with me and don't get anything, get anything right? Surround myself with people that we're on the same page and let's get things done. That's who Trump is. That's the nature of business, man. That's not fascism. That's not fascism. Get your head out your own ass, right? He's 96. I wonder, I don't think he has much more to go, but still talking at 96. Impressive.
Man's a functioning democracy. We can go on. It would be a colossal disaster, and it's not unlikely. You look at polls.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's way ahead in the Republican nomination polls. What do you make of over here in the UK, Brexit, which is now 8 years pretty much since we voted to leave the European Union, or 7 years?
I don't want to hear about that. Let's listen to Chris Christie. Chris Christie is also, see, you could be on any side of the political stage. You could be far right, Republican, far left, Democrat, or you could be none of those things, and you could still have Trump derangement syndrome. Chris Christie seems to have it. He's running against Trump, but he seems to feel that Trump is a very bad person. He's very angry on the inside. Let's listen.
Look how angry he is.
Look how angry.
Every time he talks, he's angry. Like, this isn't an angry game. Sometimes you got to be mad. Sometimes people make me mad, and you've seen video of me. I don't hold back, okay? But if there's that much anger, when he displays it, it's never about what's being done to the country.
Where is Trump angry? Trump is one of the most level fucking politicians that I've ever met. He gets attacked over and over and over again, and he's just the same. He's level. He shrugs it off. Trump is angry? Where's Trump angry? Fiction. Chris Christie is on CNN talking fiction to smear his opponent so that people will vote for his big Jersey fat ass.
It's never about what you talked about how much things are costing you and how you can make ends meet. It's not about that inner city kids aren't getting a great education. It's not about that there's crime over the streets. It's about what's been done to him. Poor me, victim me.
And Trump does play into the victim card, but a lot of his intentions are right. Like lock her up, clean out the FBI, go shake hands with Kim Jong-un and stop a nuclear war. Certainly don't fucking destabilize Ukraine and let Russia take it. That was stupid. Trump, very level. Angry? Absolutely not. Chris Christie, Trump derangement syndrome so far. Promoting it.
Well, I don't think either one of those people are appropriate to be president. As I said off the top, that's why I'm running. There is not, if those two are the candidates, I don't believe that there's a winning alternative for America. And
this guy has absolutely no chance of ever being elected anything again.
America needs, in my view, to start winning again. And the only way we do is each and one of you has a chance to win every day.
Justin Falzone points out Chris Christie is just running to attack Trump. You think so? You think he's taking money just to attack Trump? Maybe that's his whole point, his whole purpose. So that was TYT for the clip. Thank you, TYT. Let's listen to now. This is real. This is where Trump derangement syndrome gets real and scary. It's people that are walking around that if you say Trump, their head spins around and they get agitated and they want to attack you and they want to make you go away and they see you as an enemy. But there's also people on television that believe and feel the same way. Dana Bash certainly would be one of them. Why is she doing a State of the Union, CNN Live State of the Union? She doesn't know the State of the Union, but she's going to try to paint a picture with Vivek Ramaswamy, who's also running as a Republican. She's going to try to paint the picture that Trump is very, very bad, and how dare you say that he isn't very, very bad. This is Trump derangement syndrome on steroids. Now, here's this woman being paid $6 million a year. Right? Does she believe it? In part, she believes it. She believes it, and she's willing to say whatever comes into that earpiece stuffed in her ear. Whatever's in that earpiece, she's gonna repeat. And what's coming through that earpiece is that go after Trump, go bring it back to Trump, bring it back to Trump. He's bad. He's bad. Trump derangement syndrome on CNN on display for all to see.
Former President Trump defended him after his indictment this week, but only one has gone as far as my next guest. Here with me now is Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you so much for joining me. So before
you gotta love this guy. You gotta love Vivek Ramaswamy at 37 years old. This guy is everywhere. All at once. Love it.
Before you heard any details of the allegations in the Trump indictment, you put out a statement saying if you become president, you would pardon Donald Trump on day one. Now,
I would pardon. So Vivek Ramaswamy's position is that I would pardon Donald Trump on day one. And to Dana Bash, that's unthinkable, regardless of the details of the conviction. It doesn't matter. How could you pardon Trump? Right. That's her position.
Now you've seen the allegations, and you've seen that he stored highly classified information.
Hey, you saw the allegations. Innocent until proven guilty in America still? Yes, yeah.
And like nuclear secrets and others in unsecured areas of his country club. Given everything that you've seen, do you stand by your promise to pardon him if he's...
All right, so those things of mishandling sensitive information, right? It goes back to the Clintons and Obama, passing information back on BlackBerries and unsecured servers wherever they went, sending emails back and forth. We know the record of that. We know the carelessness from 2014, 2015, 2016, Hillary Clinton. And when they finally got caught, they smashed and destroyed all of the evidence in those phones. So we know about mishandling classified information and then going to Congress and lying, as Hillary Clinton did many, many times. On my count, about 6 times. She went, I don't know what you're talking about. I never bleached anything. Oh, you mean with like scrub it with a rag? She lied over and over again. So I don't know the point I was making, but let's listen to Vivek.
Convicted?
Reading that indictment and looking at the selective omissions of both fact and law, then I'm even more convinced that a pardon is the right answer here.
Why?
The top question actually we should be asking is, what did Biden tell Merrick Garland? What did Merrick Garland tell Jack Smith? Because what I see in that document is deeply politicized. Not a single mention of the Presidential Records Act.
Not a single mention of the Presidential Records Act, because that's really what this is. Trump, the Presidential Records Act is something where Trump's supposed to relinquish all the shit he has in his boxes and give it to the museum, and they're supposed to hold it forever and ever. Right, and it's a violation of that. He broke a rule. But he's being tried on treason for the Espionage Act. That's very different, right? And there's no mention of this presidential act in the document. What did they in the indictment? What did they forget about it? Did they forget to talk about the actual rule that was broken, as opposed to this made up law about Trump being a spy and breaking an Espionage Act? Did they forget to do that? As Vivek points out, did they just forget? Like, oops, we forgot to talk about that other rule. No, they didn't do it because it's politicized. It's go after Trump and try to get him thrown in prison for the rest of his life and smear him in the eyes of the public.
The most relevant statute to the actual alleged crime here. Selective statements from President Trump's statements on the campaign trail in 2016 about classification and how he'd treat it, without one mention of the fact that he actually, after he was elected in 2016, said he would not prosecute Hillary Clinton and would not want to see her prosecuted. And by the way, no one's mentioned this yet. This was what stood out to me. The classification scheme itself was defined not by statute, but by executive order, which is interesting because executive orders, appellate courts have held, do not bind a U.S. president with the force of law. So this is selective prosecution. I think it's irresponsible not to have included any treatment of those facts or law in this indictment.
Selective prosecution, Vivek Ramaswamy says, as a lawyer and a contendant for the presidential nomination.
It reeks of politicization, which is why I want to go back to the top question that the media actually should be asking. I
love Vivek Ramaswamy because you really don't need any commentary when he's speaking. He says it all. It's brilliant young mind rising up the ranks.
Biden tell Garland. What did Garland tell Jack Smith? That's what you need to get to the bottom of.
The White House insists that he has absolutely no connection to this, that the whole...
And Dana Bash repeats the lie that because the White House says they have no involvement with this, we must believe them without ever questioning. We don't question the White House. Only if Trump's sitting in there, then we question it. But it's Joe Biden. We don't question it. Ramaswamy's going to call her out on it.
Reason the special counsel was put in place is to take it out of politics. But I want to read something. I want to read something that Bill Barr, President Trump's own attorney general, said just this morning on another network. Mm-hmm. He said, quote, if even half of it is true, speaking of the indictment, then he's toast. It is a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning. This is the former president's own former attorney general.
CNN reports on the spin. They don't report on the facts. She's reporting on Bill Barr's spin. Who paid Bill Barr? You know, that's what she's reporting on.
I think we have to be able to draw a distinction between bad judgments. I would not have made the judgments that President Trump made. It's a big part of why I'm in this race, is I think that I would have made different judgments than Trump made.
What would you have done differently?
Well, I would not have taken those documents with me, and I would have returned them on demand, because that would have actually set up for a much more constructive discussion. But there's a difference between a bad judgment. So judgment. The only thing Trump is guilty of is not returning documents on demand, because Trump has got a bit of an ego problem, right? And he says, fuck you, I'm not going to return anything.
I'm an ex-president. I'm entitled to these. That's what Trump is. That's what Trump is guilty of. He's it's just a poor a flex. He flexed in the wrong way, and the FBI used it as an opportunity to show that he wasn't compliant. It's ridiculous. That qualifies him. Does that raise to the level of spy? Well, that's what the media wants you to believe.
Breaking the law. And when especially the federal police apparatus conflates the two, that's a threat to liberty for everyone, not just President Trump, but every American, where every misjudgment is treated as a violation of law. What really matters is the relevant law, including, by the way, how Judge Jackson interpreted the Presidential Records Act.
This guy would be a great lawyer for Trump. Wow. Vivek Ramaswamy for Trump's lawyer.
2012 in the Clinton sock drawer case. Not a single mention of the most relevant statute in that document means that indictment is a politicized document. That's why I want to get back to the bottom of the politics behind it, and we need transparency there.
According to the indictment, quote, the classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack.
That's what presidents do, Ms. Dana Bash. That's what presidents do. They deal with United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities, military attacks, plans of retaliation. That's what presidents do, you idiot.
So we are talking about very, very sensitive information.
Right, and that's why he was elected president, to retain that information. And he stored it in a secure place in his Mar-a-Lago house. He wasn't passing it around on the tarmac with Hillary Clinton.
Which, again, Trump allegedly stored in a bathroom, ballroom, in his bedroom. Is that more than just bad judgment?
Ballroom, bedroom? No. It was in a locked location. That's not true. Now she's lying.
It's very bad judgment, no doubt about it.
You do have issues with that.
I do, if those allegations are true. By the way, the reason we have a court of law is, and I am personally deeply skeptical of everything in that indictment, so I will not believe it until we actually see it aired in a court of law. And the reason I don't believe it, Dan, is the selective omission of...
There's the mistake right there. We don't want to see it in a court of law. We want to see it thrown out because the whole idea, the whole premise is based on garbage. It's not real. They find one weak judge that'll take it on because she has Trump derangement syndrome, or she's being paid a lot of money to say it and to hold trial. Anyway.
A bunch of other facts that should have been in that indictment.
All right, so that's Vivek Ramaswamy, and this guy's running for president too. If you hadn't heard. Would you like a real intellectual in the vein of Noam Chomsky? Remember, Noam Chomsky was a hero of many intellectuals like Cornel West. When Cornel West was, I guess, 20 years old, Noam Chomsky was a 40-year-old genius. And Cornel West is a student in many respects of Noam Chomsky. And here he is running for president of the United States. Can an intellectual, today actually govern? Would that be possible without having I don't know. I don't think so. In retrospect, looking at a guy like Cornel West, can Cornel West govern at that level? I highly doubt it. Well, let's listen.
You're putting a smile on Brother George and Sister Dorothy's face, your precious parents. But no, my announcement of running for president of the United States to be head of the empire to help dismantle it in such a way that poor and working people would be at the very center, at the very core of our vision of what a good society actually is. That it has to do, as you can imagine, with these very bleak times, these very desperate times. So it's a kind of act of desperation. I'm 70 years old. I've been at this for 55 years. And I have a calling that flows out of the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel and Edward Said and King Joseph. And
you see what happens with the intellectuals, the guys that spend their whole lives in college? They start to talk about people and situations and conclusions that nobody else really knows or cares about, or it doesn't. It's not even sensible. A lot of what Cornel West is talking about. You got to have a PhD in political science, and you got to be surrounded by other PhDs in political science to understand what the fuck is being said. And when you analyze it, nothing is being said. It's just jargon, it's just word salad.
Day and Grace Lee Boggs and Louisa Marino, all of those are the best of America. And I think we're at such a low point that America needs to be reintroduced to its best. And its best has always been the movements for justice.
I had enough of this guy. So, Sean Kane says lying is what they get paid to do. I hear you. I hear you. People like Dana Bash, I fail to believe fully in my heart that they're lying completely. When Dana Bash goes after Trump, she has a deep-seated hatred of this man, this particular type of white alpha male, right? She doesn't like him, right? She has the Trump derangement syndrome. She sees him and dislikes him. That's not necessarily lying. That's just, you believe it. That's why they're hired. She believes the bullshit. She believes this garbage. And other people listen and say, yeah, I believe it too. Right? It's a phenomenon, really, in American politics. So let's talk about the markets. The markets are way up right now. Yeah, they were up higher, and then what happened? Let's see what we got here. So yeah, we'll take it. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 180 this morning. Nasdaq is up 54. It was up 100 a couple of minutes ago. That was an expensive program I did. I was trying to max out on that one. It went all the way up to 39.70. We were almost at 40 a little while ago on the ETF. Let's look. So, but everything is up right now. We're not going to cry. And there it goes, coming crashing down in the morning. Ready to go back up again, I guess. It came all the way down and went all the way up. So, let's see, 39.71. Yeah, that was a whole point right there. That was a whole point we lost. Could have got that point. Could have put that point in our pocket. So Apple is down 47 cents right now. Amazon up 23. Google up 76 cents. Google up 71 cents. Meta up $1.65 right now. Everything green. Microsoft up $1.27. Rivian, beautiful. Rivian is up 57 cents. 57 cents as a disclaimer. I'm holding a little Rivian at 14. We got 14.55 right now. I got just a little bit to say I was in. A handful of shares to see if it works. It's working right now. Tesla is up 3.5. The great Elon Musk leading that. NVIDIA, $398. Wow, almost $400 a share, up $3, $3.50 today. Climbing, technology screaming up. And what is the news? Tomorrow, Jerome Powell, the head of the money guy. It's time to go, man. It's time to go. It's time to take a drink of water. It's time to take some water. So tomorrow, the Fed Reserve is going to decide, are they going to jack up the interest rate? And that's what people are working on right now. That's what they're viewing right now. If they do jack up the interest rate, then the markets will go down. If they don't, then the markets will go up, basically. Anyway, so that's all I got today. Mark Sconti reporting. Beautiful Tuesday here in the northeast of Pennsylvania. We got a lot of rain last night. It was beautiful. Rain yesterday and and tonight, last night, and everything is very, very green and wet. Plants are loving it. Plants are thoroughly enjoying their life right now. And yeah, the sun is out. I'm gonna go run today. I'm gonna go run around the lake right now. I'm gonna go take care of myself because I feel like my mind is wandering. It happens once in a while, you know. You lose your balance a little bit. I don't know what that is. But I don't have Trump derangement syndrome, do you? You got to ask yourself, do you look at people and say, I just don't like this person. And he needs to go to fucking prison. I can't believe that he's not in prison. I can't believe that Donald Trump is not in prison. Please, someone send him to fucking prison. Right now. Marcus Conte reporting.